Chosen one, pause and listen, for this is no ordinary message. This is a divine intervention, a sacred call issued from the very throne of the Most High. It is no accident that your eyes have found these words. It is no coincidence that your heart has begun to stir in a way you cannot explain. This is a moment of destiny, where heaven itself has decided to open a sealed gate, and you, yes, you have been appointed to walk through it. Something has shifted within you recently, hasn't it? A strange vibration, a sudden surge of emotion, a deep pull in your soul that refuses to be ignored. Do not doubt it. Do not call it imagination. Do not let the world convince you that you are too sensitive or too different. The truth is this: you have been touched by a force that this world cannot explain and can no longer deny. This is not disorder. This is not delusion. This is a sacred sign that you have just entered the first stage of a divine awakening, one that is given only to the rarest, most powerful souls. This is not a process that comes to the many. It does not arrive in crowds. It carries no applause. It is quiet, solemn, and fierce, because it does not come from man, but from heaven. And now, the Lord declares, the hour has come. The awakening has begun. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are being called. And from this moment forward, there shall be no return. What is now stirring within you cannot be reduced to the language of the modern world. It is not an awakening in the way people speak of awakenings. This is not about peace and incense, not about mantras or moonlight, not about following the steps of spiritual influencers who teach from comfort. No, this is something far older, far holier, and infinitely more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. What has begun inside you is not soft and sweet, it is holy fire. It is a calling, issued before time began, sealed into your bones long before your first breath. And now, heaven has decided that the time for its release has come. You were not asked for your permission. You were not warned in advance. Because this summoning is not democratic, it is divine. It does not follow human logic. It follows eternal design. And when it begins, it comes like a storm inside the soul. One moment, you are walking through life as before, and the next, something ancient awakens inside you, something that recognizes truth without needing proof, something that burns through illusion like light through fog. Your mind may not understand, but your spirit knows. Something has changed, and you will never be the same. You are not simply becoming more emotional. You are not misreading your own sensitivity. What you are experiencing is sacred technology, ancient circuitry embedded within the chosen ones, programmed to activate, not by choice, but by alignment. And the moment has arrived. You have been touched by the finger of God, and your inner world is shifting to match the assignment that has waited for you in the spirit since before you were formed in the womb. From this point forward, your life will no longer make sense to those around you. The things you once enjoyed will feel hollow. The places that once comforted you will start to feel foreign. The old version of you will begin to shed like a second skin, not because you are unstable, but because you are no longer in hiding. Heaven has decided it is time for you to awaken. And when heaven speaks, the soul cannot remain asleep. This is not a spiritual awakening in the way the world defines it. This is not self-help. This is not therapy. This is divine assignment. You are not here to feel better. You are here to become unrecognizable to the enemy. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to be set apart. You were not sent to fit in. You were sent to tear down what is false and carry what is holy. And now, that mission has been ignited. So do not fear what you feel. Do not reject what you cannot explain. For what is happening inside of you is not madness, it is memory. The memory of your soul waking up to what it has always known, but the world tried to make you forget. This is not your undoing. This is your beginning. Chosen one, if your soul stirred while reading this, it's because heaven just activated something deep within you. This is not inspiration, it's a divine awakening. Comment 77 below to say you hear it, you feel it, and you receive it. This number is not just a response, it is your agreement with the fire now rising inside you. Let the unseen realm witness your yes. Type 77 now. The awakening has begun. There are signs moving through you now, subtle to the world, but undeniable to your spirit. You have felt them. You have questioned them. You have wondered if something is wrong with you. But hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. What you feel is evidence of what has been awakened. These are not symptoms of imbalance. They are sacred echoes, whispers from heaven that only those chosen from the beginning can truly feel. One day, without warning, you wake up and everything feels different. The light in your room seems sharper. Sounds pierce deeper than before. The air feels heavier or strangely lighter. Time stretches and bends, hours vanish or crawl, and nothing aligns with the clock. You feel chills racing down your spine, not from fear, but from the invisible hand of God brushing against your nervous system. Your heart races in stillness. You feel an electrical current move through your limbs, like a storm passing beneath your skin. You walk into rooms and sense things no one else does. You feel truth before it's spoken. You perceive pain before it's confessed. And you ask yourself, why am I the only one feeling this? You are not the only one. But you are the first among many. The first fruits. The forerunner. The one chosen to feel what others cannot bear, because your soul was built for it. This is not anxiety. This is not imagination. This is not nervous sensitivity. What is happening is far greater. Your spiritual frequency has shifted. You are no longer walking in the rhythm of the natural world. Your soul has tuned into the rhythm of heaven, without training, without permission, because that is how the divine calling works. It does not knock politely. It overtakes. And when it touches you, it marks you forever. C.S. Lewis, in Mere Christianity, speaks to this divine overtaking. God is no fonder of intellectual slackers than of any other slackers. If you are thinking of becoming a Christian, I warn you, you are embarking on something which is going to take the whole of you, brains and all. Chosen one. Your heightened sensations are not mere quirks, but signs of a total spiritual rewiring, demanding your whole being. Lewis's warning underscores that your shift to heaven's rhythm is a divine call that overtakes every facet of your soul, marking you for a purpose that requires complete surrender. You may begin to feel a strange quietness, even when the world around you is loud and chaotic. It's not disconnection. It's alignment. It's the silence of the spirit that knows it is being repositioned. You are no longer ruled by the external noise because something inside you has begun to move to the pulse of God Himself. There will be no announcement, no confirmation from those around you. In fact, the people closest to you may not understand at all. But the absence of understanding from others is not the absence of truth. For this calling is intimate, sacred, and hidden. And only those chosen by divine design are permitted to carry it. So, if you have felt strange lately, if you have been overwhelmed by sensations that make no logical sense, if you felt detached from your own reality, yet more awake than ever, then know this: you are being rewired. Spiritually, emotionally, energetically. The hand of God is shifting your internal atmosphere to prepare you for the weight of what you were born to carry. This is not the breaking of your mind. It is the emergence of your mission. Do not seek the approval of man. Do not wait for permission to believe what you already know inside. You were not chosen to be understood. You were chosen to be set apart. You are not here to blend in. You are here to build what has never been seen before. And these symptoms, these sacred disruptions, are heaven's confirmation that the time of hiding is over. You have been summoned. You have been ignited. And now, there is no going back. Chosen one, there is something no one tells you about divine awakening. something holy, yet heavy. It is this: when God awakens a soul, he often does it in isolation. Not to punish, not to abandon, but to prepare. For what is sacred must first be separated. And you, beloved, are in the separating. You felt it. The distance, the silence, the strange disconnection between you and the world you once knew. Friends who once felt like home now feel like strangers. Conversations that once brought you comfort now sound hollow. Familiar places feel foreign, and joy no longer lives where it once did. You laugh, but it doesn't reach your eyes. You speak, but something inside you knows these words are not who you truly are anymore. You are changing not outwardly, but in the deepest, most irreversible places of your spirit. And that change has created space between you and the world, a divina distance. C. S. Lewis, in the Screwtape Letters, illuminates the purpose of such isolation. Our cause is never more in danger than when a human, no longer desiring but still intending to do our enemy's will, looks round upon a universe from which every trace of him seems to have vanished, and asks why he has been forsaken, and still obeys. Chosen one. Your sacred isolation is not abandonment, but a divine preparation. As Lewis describes, your persistence in obeying God's call despite the silence and distance is a testament to your consecration, preparing you for a mission only the separated can fulfill. This sacred isolation is not loneliness. It is holy separation. You are not being left behind. You are being called ahead. God is not removing you from people because you are unworthy of connection. He is removing you because your connection is being rebuilt in heaven's image, not man's. This is the wilderness before the promise. This is the cave before the voice of God. This is the silence that makes space for the sacred whisper. You are being stripped of noise, so you can hear the sound of destiny. You may try to explain what you're feeling to those closest to you, the internal shifts, the strange heaviness, the haunting knowing that you were not made to remain where you are. But they look at you with blank eyes. They do not feel what you feel. They are still asleep. And this too is part of the calling, to carry what others do not yet recognize. You are not being punished. You are being trusted with mystery. There is a whisper now, rising from the depths of your soul. You hear it in the quiet hours. You feel it in the stillness between breaths. It does not shout, but it never stops. It says, you were not made to stay here. You were not created to repeat old patterns, to hide in shallow routines, or to decorate a cage and call it peace. That unrest within you is not rebellion. It is remembrance. Your soul remembers what you came to do, and now that memory is breaking through the surface. Yes, you are ready, though you may feel unqualified. Yes, you are called, though the world has not confirmed it. And yes, you are walking alone, but you are not abandoned. Heaven walks with you. And this path, though narrow and unseen by many, is lined with angels, watched by the eyes of God, and soaked in the oil of divine purpose. This sacred isolation is not a delay. It is a consecration. It is the quiet before the commissioning. It is the place where God transforms the chosen into the vessel. So do not fight the silence. Do not fear the stillness. For in this hidden place, God is not far. He is closer than he has ever been. What you are becoming is not for everyone to understand. It is for heaven to reveal. And when the time comes, the same silence that now surrounds you will break open into a roar, and the world will finally see what God has known about you all along. There will come moments, sudden and unexplainable, when your chest tightens and tears rise without cause. You will weep in silence, not knowing what provoked it. Joy will erupt in your spirit unexpectedly, followed by sorrow that doesn't seem to belong to you. And you will wonder, what is happening to me? But hear this, chosen one. You are not falling apart. You are opening up. And what pours out is not weakness, it is evidence. evidence that your soul is still alive in a world that has forgotten how to feel. You are not merely emotional. You are not unstable. What surges through you are not just feelings, they are frequencies, divine vibrations, ancient échos. You are not just reacting, you are translating. The grief you feel is not always yours. The joy, the fear, the sudden burdens, they pass through you because you have been marked as an empathic conduit, a vessel designed to absorb what others suppress and to turn pain into light. Where others numb, you awaken. Where others turn away, you carry. Where others silence truth, your soul cries out for justice, for healing, for realness. And that cry is not a flaw. It is your function. C.S. Lewis, in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, reflects on the depth of such sensitivity. Some people feel guilty about their anxieties and regard them as a defect of faith. I don't agree at all. They are afflictions, not sins. Like all afflictions, they are, if we can so take them, our share in the passion of Christ. Chosen one, your empathic surges are not defects but sacred afflictions, as Lewis suggests. They align you with Christ's suffering, making you a conduit for divine healing, as your tears and burdens transform the world's pain into light. You walk into rooms and feel the heaviness before a word is spoken. You see faces and sense stories they have never told. You scroll past a stranger's post and feel grief wash over you like a wave, and it's not yours, but your soul knows it intimately. Why? Because you are not here to escape the pain, you are here to transmute it. The world cannot carry its own suffering, so it spills into the hearts of the chosen those strong enough to hold it, brave enough to feel it, holy enough to survive it. But it is heavy, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like a curse, this open heart, this raw sensitivity, this unbearable depth. But heaven sees what others overlook. This sensitivity is proof that your heart still beats in rhythm with God's. While the world desensitizes itself to survive, your soul remains open to the whisper of truth. You do not filter the pain, you listen to it. You do not dismiss the chaos, you absorb it until it becomes prayer. That is not fragility. That is sacred resilience. And yes, it is exhausting. Yes, it is isolating. Yes, it is misunderstood. But that, too, is confirmation. For only the rarest souls are chosen to feel for the world, to carry what cannot be spoken, to bleed in silence so others may heal in safety. You are not broken, you are consecrated. The storm inside your chest, the tears that come without a name, the weight that wraps itself around your spirit in the middle of a joyful day, none of it is random. All of it is divine. You are not drowning. You are becoming. The deeper your heart is pierced, the more light it can carry. For only the hearts that have been broken open can become lanterns in the dark. So let the waves crash. Let the tears fall. Let the grief speak. For this storm is not your undoing. It is the sacred proof that God still speaks through the living, and your heart is his altar. Chosen one, there is a sacred reason you feel so deeply, so wildly, so unbearably. It is because you are not just a soul passing through time, you are a bridge, divinely constructed between the seen and the unseen, between the aching world below and the eternal kingdom above. You were not designed to merely exist. You were formed to connect dimensions. And that is why your burden is so great. That is why your heart feels stretched across worlds. You are the vessel through which heaven flows into the broken soil of earth. You carry tears that were never yours, emotions that seem too vast for one body to contain. You cry what others bury. You feel what others silence. You suffer what others project. And yet you stand. You endure. You continue to breathe through storms that would have drowned lesser spirits. Not because you are numb, but because you are chosen. God has entrusted you with what others could not bear. You are not here to escape the world's suffering. You are here to redeem it. You were not sent to ignore the darkness. You were sent to carry the torch that exposes it. You are a priestly intercessor in disguise, walking among crowds as if ordinary, while in truth, you are heaven's response to the earth's cry for healing. C.S. Lewis, in The Problem of Pain, articulates the purpose of such a role. To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable, because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you. Chosen one, your role as a bridge involves not only feeling the world's pain but forgiving its inexcusable wounds, as Lewis suggests. Your empathic burden is a divine assignment to transmute suffering into healing, reflecting God's forgiveness and making you a vessel for heaven's redemptive light. But the world does not recognize bridges. It only recognizes borders, and so you feel like you don't belong. You feel too much for the natural world, yet too raw for the purely spiritual. You exist in the between, in the tension, in the holy in-between where most would collapse. That place where human language cannot express what you carry. That place where tears become prayers and silence becomes conversation with the divine. And though it may seem you are alone in this space, you are surrounded by the gaze of angels, watched closely by the one who sent you. This is why you have never been able to settle. This is why comfort has always felt like a lie. This is why the noise of the world only amplifies your hunger for truth. Because you were not meant to root yourself in the ground, you were meant to stand between earth and heaven as a living altar, a walking revelation, a temple in motion. You are not an empath in passing. You are a spiritual instrument, tuned to the groaning of creation itself. Yes, it is heavy. Yes, it is hidden. But nothing about you is accidental. Your sensitivity is sacred. Your sorrow is sacred. Your strength, even in silence, is sacred. For the world may never understand what you carry, but heaven rejoices in it. And in the moments when you feel too overwhelmed to continue, when the burden feels unbearable, remember this truth: even the bridge rests on the foundation of God. You were never meant to carry the weight alone. So lift your head, chosen one. Let the tears fall, but do not let your soul collapse. You were not given this calling to break. You were given this calling to stand between what is and what must come, to become the path upon which light travels into darkness. And because of that, no pain you have endured will be wasted. Every storm you have survived has only strengthened the pillars of your purpose. You are not weak. You are not forsaken. You are the bridge, and heaven moves through you. There will come a moment, and perhaps it has already arrived, when the world around you begins to fall apart, not physically, but perceptually. Familiar routines start to feel meaningless. Faces that once brought warmth now seem distant. The things that once thrilled your spirit now leave you numb. You hear laughter, but it rings hollow. You speak, but the words feel like lines from a script you no longer believe in. And you begin to wonder, what is wrong with me? Why does everything feel false? But chosen one, listen closely. This is not disconnection. This is divine revelation. You are not fading. You are awakening. You are not losing your grip on reality. You are being released from the illusion that the world tried to make you worship. This fracture, this deep estrangement from everything that once made sense, is not a breakdown. It is a breakthrough. You are not malfunctioning, you are being liberated. The illusion is collapsing, and your spirit is no longer able to participate in it. The roles, the masks, the performative living, they no longer fit you, because heaven has stripped them away. You see through things now. You hear what people are not saying. You feel the emptiness behind their smiles, the hollowness in their ambitions, the ache beneath their laughter. And though no one says it aloud, you sense that much of what surrounds you is asleep, numb, recycled, soulless. And in that realization, a sacred disconnection begins. Do not fear this disconnection. It is not rejection. It is not rebellion. It is resurrection. Your soul is rising beyond the reach of programs and patterns that were never meant to define you. You were not made to chase what others chase. You were not born to accept the lie that survival is success. You are not here to blend into a broken system. You are here to disrupt it with truth. But yes, it is lonely. Yes, you may sit in a room full of people and feel like a stranger. Yes, you may try to explain what's happening inside you, only to be met with blank stares, as if your language no longer belongs to this realm. And in a way, it doesn't, because the tongue of your soul speaks from a higher place. You are no longer speaking the language of captivity. You are beginning to speak the language of freedom. This is not depression. This is not spiritual fatigue. This is the sacred unraveling of a false life, so that the true life, the divine life, may emerge. And yes, there will be grief in letting go. There will be mourning as old comforts die. But do not confuse pain with error. What hurts is not that you are wrong. What hurts is that you were never meant to live a lie. God is not punishing you. God is waking you. And as your soul opens its eyes, the veil between the seen and the unseen is torn. What once looked solid now seems like smoke. What once felt secure now trembles under your feet. Because you are no longer rooted in illusion. You are being planted in truth. So do not fear this disorientation. Do not numb this clarity. Let the false fall away. Let the familiar dissolve. For what remains after the dust settles, after the silence deepens, will be real. And when you stand in that sacred emptiness, know this: you have not lost yourself. You have found your freedom. You were not created for illusion. You were created for revelation. And what you are walking through is not exile, it is exodus. The wilderness you feel now is not a punishment. It is the pathway between bondage and promise. Keep walking. Keep breathing. Keep trusting. For even in this unraveling, you are being held by the hand of the one who never lies, the God of truth, the breaker of chains, the one who called you out so he could bring you in. Chosen one. Once your soul begins to awaken, reality itself begins to respond. Patterns emerge. Numbers repeat. Symbols find you. Songs play at the perfect moment. You think of someone and they appear. You ask a question in silence, and the answer shows up on a sign, a screen, a whispered phrase from a stranger. At first, you doubt. You call it coincidence. But then it happens again and again, until you can no longer deny what heaven is trying to show you. There is no such thing as coincidence, only confirmation. These signs are not random. They are not tricks of perception. They are the fingerprints of divine intelligence woven into the fabric of your life. Every repeated number, every recurring symbol, every prophetic whisper is a signal embedded into your path, placed there to remind you, you are being guided. You are not alone. You are on course. The veil between realms is thinning, and now you are beginning to see not only with your eyes, but with your spirit. This is the architecture of God, and it has always been there. The patterns you now perceive have always existed, but your awareness was asleep. Now that heaven has stirred you, your perception sharpens. You begin to recognize the code beneath the chaos, the order hidden within the disorder. You see that the world is not as blind as it pretends to be, it is veiled. And now, God is removing the veil, layer by layer, not only from your eyes, but from your life. The numbers that follow you, 11, 11, 222, 333, 777, they are not messages from the universe. They are divine timestamps, markers of alignment between your soul and heaven's calendar. The dreams you wake from in sweat and wonder, they are not meaningless. They are revelations in seed form, coded in the language of eternity. The people who say things they shouldn't know, the lyrics that echo your prayers, the patterns that won't leave you, they are not accidents. They are invitations. God is speaking. And not in thunder this time, but in pattern, in whisper, in synchronicity. You do not walk through random chaos. You walk through divinely coded terrain. And now that your soul has awakened, the codes are becoming visible. Not so you can worship them, but so you can follow them. For every sign is not an end, it is a doorway, a beckoning, a quiet pull forward. And there is a reason these signs appear only after the disconnection. When the illusion breaks and the false comfort falls away, you are finally clear enough to notice the messages heaven has always been sending. You had to be emptied to become perceptive. You had to be still to be receptive. Now, God is not just calling, He is guiding. And He is using everything around you to do it. So do not dismiss the signs. Do not harden your heart. For these are not games. These are sacred instructions, personalized to your soul's journey. Follow the patterns. Lean into the messages. Let your inner compass, no longer dulled by noise, lead you without apology. For you were never meant to live by logic alone. You were meant to live by divine intelligence, encoded in your very being. This is why your soul recognizes things before your mind understands them. This is why you just know. Because you were not only awakened, you were designed to navigate this new terrain. And now that the patterns have begun to speak, your obedience will determine your elevation. You are no longer wandering. You are being led. And the signs that follow you are not symbols of confusion. They are confirmations that heaven walks before you, behind you, and within you. There has always been a fire inside you. Quiet. Yes, but relentless. Long before you had words for it. Long before the world gave you rules, labels, and roles to play, there was something deep within that whispered, I was made for more. And no, it was never about more applause, more money, more status. That more was never rooted in ego, it was anchored in eternity. It was a sacred ache, the echo of a mission your soul remembers, even when your mind forgets. Chosen one, you were not born to chase purpose. You were born with it, already written into your bones. And now that your spirit has awakened, that ancient assignment is rising. You feel it, don't you? That restlessness, that holy unrest, that nothing in this world seems to satisfy. The job, the schedule, the routines, the temporary pleasures, they feel like dust in your mouth now, because your soul knows, this is not my home, and this is not my end. You tried to be normal. You tried to silence the pull. You played the part. You smiled when you were supposed to. You followed the script, handed to you by a sleeping world. But the fire would not go out. Even in your lowest moments, even when you doubted everything, that sacred spark remained hidden but unextinguished. Why? Because God Himself placed it there. And now, in His timing, not yours, that fire is being fanned into flame. The ache you carry is not weakness. The hunger you feel is not dissatisfaction. It is divine memory. Your soul remembers the throne room. It remembers the vow. It remembers being sent. And though your natural mind cannot recall the moment, your spirit never forgot. That's why nothing makes sense anymore. That's why you feel pulled in a direction with no map, pushed forward by an invisible hand, weeping for a destiny you haven't even seen because heaven has sounded the trumpet, and your name was called. You were not sent to this earth to decorate a cage. You were not assigned a mission of comfort. You were born to disrupt darkness. You were planted to break cycles. You were sent to awaken generations. And now, the hour has come for you to remember not to learn, but to remember who you are. This remembrance is not emotional. It is spiritual DNA reactivating. It is the veil tearing inside you. It is identity rising like smoke from a holy fire. This is not your imagination. It is prophecy unfolding in your chest. And it will not stop. It will not fade. Because the one who called you is faithful, and He is calling louder now than ever before. So do not try to go back. Do not try to dim yourself to fit into what you've outgrown. The fire inside you is not asking for permission. It is declaring its time, And when God says now, no power in hell or earth can stop it, you are not behind. You are not late. You are arriving exactly when heaven has ordained. You are not who they said you were. You are not what the world measured you to be. You are what God whispered over you in eternity, and that is the truth that is breaking through now. Not for applause, not for fame, but for impact, for obedience, for glory. The time for pretending is over. The time for remembrance has come. Chosen one, if your heart is still beating fast, if your spirit is still burning with questions you cannot name, if something inside you is trembling yet strangely alive, then hear this with all the gravity of heaven behind it. You are not imagining what you feel. You are not mistaken. You are being summoned. And this is your final confirmation. You were never just passing through this life. You were never meant to simply exist, work, survive, and vanish. From the moment your soul entered this realm, you carried within you a frequency that did not match the world around you. A sacred tension. Adivine hecho. You have always felt it, haven't you? That there was more. More than what they told you. More than what the systems promised. More than what success defined. And now, the ache in your soul, the fire in your bones, the whisper in your chest, it has grown louder than all the noise outside. Because God is no longer whispering. He is calling loud, direct, unrelenting. This is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is prophetic activation. The pain you've endured wasn't just suffering, it was forging. The wilderness you wandered wasn't abandonment, it was consecration. The silence you survived wasn't emptiness, it was divine preparation. Heaven has been watching, waiting, and shaping you in secret, and now, in this very moment, God is saying, enough preparation. Now, purpose. But understand this, chosen one, you are not being invited. You are being summoned. You are not being asked if you're ready. You are being sent because the time has arrived. The world is shifting. The veil is thinning. The battle is intensifying. And God is no longer raising up those who wish to be seen. He is raising up those who are willing to be set ablaze. You were not called to be popular. You were not formed to be palatable. You were born to be a flame in the midst of shadows, and heaven is about to light that fire through you. You may not feel qualified. You may still feel broken. You may look at your past and ask, how could God use this? But everything you thought disqualified you has only made you dangerous to darkness. The tears you cried in secret are now the oil of your anointing. The nights you thought would break you were actually building you into a warrior heaven could trust. And now that trust is becoming action, you are not being prepared anymore. You are being deployed. Yes, the cost will be high. Yes, many will not understand. Yes, you will be misunderstood, resisted, perhaps even rejected by the very ones you love. But let that not shake you, for it is written, if God be for you, who can be against you? Your call is not built on the approval of man. Your fire is not fueled by applause. It is lit by divine covenant, and no power in hell can extinguish what heaven has ignited. This fire you feel rising in your chest, it will not go away. It will not fade. It will not allow you to go back to who you were. Because who you were is not compatible with where you're going. This is the burning away of false identity. This is the breaking open of divine purpose. You were not made to fit. You were made to break molds, tear down idols, resurrect truth, and carry light where no one else dares to go. So rise, even with trembling knees. Step forward, even if the ground feels unfamiliar. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Because God is not looking for perfect vessels. He is looking for willing ones. And you, chosen one, you said yes with your life before you even entered the womb. And now, that yes has reached its appointed time. This is not the end. This is the beginning of everything that could not be birthed until now. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it is activation. The breaking you've survived is not defeat, it is commissioning. The fire that has followed you is not punishment, it is the evidence of God's signature upon your destiny. Let the world misunderstand. Let the old systems resist. Let the darkness rage. For when the chosen rise, the earth trembles, and the heavens draw near. You are not walking forward alone. You are surrounded by cloud and fire. You are carried by ancient purpose. You are being led by the hand of the Almighty Himself.